Hello gamers. Hi everyone, I'm Harping, and most of you probably know that I'm a huge S3K nerd. For those of you guys that don't know what S3K is, it's a relatively obscure anime released only on the VHS by Paracure Films in the 90s. Now, S3K stands for Soldier, 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 King. And if that title tells you anything, it's that this anime has a couple translation issues. In fact, almost all the translation for the series has been done by fans, because there's been little to no material from Paracure themselves. So, there's gonna be a lot of Japanese in this video, and I don't speak Japanese. So, forgive me for any mispronunciation. Anyways, where was I? So, there's a lot of Japanese in the thing, and I don't really speak Japanese. We got past that part. Anyways, the anime's obscurity makes it actually even more appealing for people like me, especially when you combine it with this weird, uncanny valley-esque visual style that was created from the first, machine learning animation ever done. So it looks really rough, but it's visually really cool. Now, I might make a video around the story of the anime itself, how it came to be, its translation, how it got such a big cult following. But for now, I really wanted to focus on a bit of lore that I think most people don't fully understand. This is something that most people who've watched S3K vaguely know about, but might have their fair share of questions on. I'm talking about, of course, the legend of the Dreamer. While the legend is alluded to many times, we, as the viewer, don't know the whole thing, and it's actually kind of unclear if the characters themselves know any more than us. For all we know, parts of the story could have been lost to time, and even King Terry himself is either lying or actively trying to discover the rest. Now, let's start with what we know for sure. The Dreamer was a folk hero from at least 100 years before the events in S3K take place. Most of our information about him is King Terry's ramblings when his obsessions start. The Dreamer led a mostly normal life until finding that his brother, Giorgio, had killed their parents and fled the city. This tragedy led the Dreamer to pursue the secret to creating the ultimate style augmenter, or as many called it, the Halo. Now, in S3K, styles are roughly synonymous with genres of special powers. For example, Blygart specializes in mobility style and illusion style. If the Dreamer ever discovered the secret to the Halo, he would become the first ever S++ class fighter to exist, period. Now, with this newfound power, he would be all but unstoppable in his quest to find Giorgio and avenge his parents. Now, this is where things get a little bit more theoretical, a little bit more wishy-washy, a little bit more speculation on our end, as King Terry's initial recountings of the story in Season 2 was cut off by Hudot's report of Huey and Dewey living. So, what I'm gonna say here is mostly community speculation based off of smaller nods in the anime, little hints that they throw us that haven't really been confirmed, but most people would guess. Yeah, there's something there. Now, in Season 2, Episode 3, King Terry, who's a little cuckoo crazy at this point, reveals that his ultimate goal, is to unlock the ancient, long-sealed mountaintop forge. It's called Damascus Point, or the Point of Damascus, as many call it. While it's not confirmed, most people speculate that this is both A, where the Halo could be made, and B, the final resting place of the Dreamer. Now, many think that the Dreamer realized that creating the Halo was too much for him to handle alone, so he started to seek out the help of forbidden styles. Now, the main forbidden style in S3K roughly translates to illegal style. Actual translation. While we don't know the exact specifics, we do know that he was exiled from his village of Supiduran. Now, after this exile was made public, he took to the newspapers, took to the publications, called everybody that exiled him jealous, called everybody that exiled him pathetic, faking news. It was a really kind of weird beat for him to go on, but it does emphasize that he was exiled and went a little bit insane. Now, remember when I said that the point of Damascus is where the Dreamer dies? Now, this is mostly due to a reference made by Master Glizzard in Season 1, Episode 6, and he's talking about how Huey and Dewey's bond need to be stronger, but the exact quote is that their bond needed to be stronger, as strong as the chains that bound the Dreamer to his mattress in the forge. Now, if we're to take this literally, there's no possible way the Dreamer could survive being chained to a mattress. Especially if the chains were strong. So, how did the Dreamer get into the sealed point? Well, our best speculation makes us think that illegal style drove him insane, but granted him enough power to enter the mountaintop forge. A lot of people also believe that the relics, like Louis's sword, were made not only at the point of Damascus, but actually by the Dreamer himself. This would kind of explain the unhinged names, because Louis's sword literally, look me in the eyes, Louis's sword literally translates to the foreskin of Christ. The foreskin of Christ. So, what we know about the Dreamer is that his story ends at the point of Damascus. His search for the Halo turned him into a bit of a bad boy, and we're not sure if he ever found his brother Giorgio. Many think not. Anyways, if you guys liked this S3K deep lore dive, you can suck me off from behind. Keep in touch with me on Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube. I don't know where I'm pointing. I just see YouTubers do it. I think it's pretty cool. Anyways, later.